Hi, greetings. My name is Jennifer Rangapai. I oversee the marketing activities of THruck. THruck is a long-distance rideshare service using the empty seat on commercial trucks. THruck founder Chang Woo has a niece named Mina. Mina is from South Korea and is an international student at College Station. Mina wants to visit Changwoo in Austin more often because Changwoo is the only family Mina has in the United States. Mina enjoys playing with her little cousins, and she really misses that homemade Korean cooking that Changwoo's wife is known for. So traveling long distance for Mina is challenging. Her student budget and school schedule limit her options. There is one small airport nearby in Bryan, and the flights only go to Dallas and Houston. And we're all pretty familiar with the high cost of flying, especially for frequent personal trips. Existing rideshare, ride hail, and taxi service are more structured for short trips within the city. And Mina doesn't have a license, so renting a car is out of the question. So while bus and train are the more affordable options for Mina, the only train station in her city is Amtrak. But there's no departure times nor routes directly to Austin. Greyhound Bus also has a stop in College Station, but there's usually only one departure to Austin per day, and the time is usually often inconvenient for Mina. And then when she does catch the ride, it can be extremely crowded and uncomfortable. So Changwoo wondered how could he get Mina to Austin more often without having to pick her up and drop her off himself. He noticed how 18-wheelers were often traveling with an empty seat on the highway and had an idea. What if Mina could be delivered to Austin riding in the empty seat on a commercial truck? Well, this is how the idea of THruck began. Commercial trucks in the United States drive a total average of 815 million miles every day. During a recent meeting overlooking I-35, the truck team counted 450 long-haul freight trucks traveling through Austin between 6 p.m. and 7 on a Monday. Trucks go through almost every large city and small town in every region, and they operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Commercial truck sharing makes long distance travel more accessible to people in smaller towns that don't have airports or bus or train stations. Trucks drive to and through almost every city and town in the United States. Every truck stop and distribution location, like grocery stores, restaurants, and convenience stores, are potentially locations for riders to join a trucker on their journey. No formal station is even needed. Truck routes connect to just about every point on the map, near and far. Since trucks operate at all the time and each truck has a slightly different route, there are more combinations of options for riders. This means more travel times, more departure cities, more destination locations. Take, for example, a small town like Gonzales, Texas. Someone in Gonzales without a personal vehicle cannot get to the city without catching a ride with somebody to get to the nearest large town. There are no airports, there's no train station, and there is no bus station. So THruck gives people in small towns access to the city and access to the opportunities and resources in the city that they do not have in their small town. But would truck drivers be open to long haul sharing or truck sharing? We learned that 50% of long-haul freight accidents are from drowsiness and speeding, so THruck could potentially give truckers a passenger to help reduce drowsiness and encourage safer driving speeds. An industry news source reported this year that 30% of commercial truck drivers experience loneliness, so THruck could potentially give truckers a journey buddy. This would give truckers someone to talk to, someone to keep them awake, and someone to share all of their knowledge with. Perhaps even talk about the company and why they love trucking. So, CNN Business also reported in 2015 that truck drivers want a higher median income. I don't think this comes to any surprise because I don't know anybody that wouldn't want a higher income. But THruck sharing could be an extra source of income for truckers. So it sounds like this could be a good opportunity, but this information still does not answer the question, would truckers want to truck share? Well, from our team's customer discovery process, the answer is yes. So for our iChallenge business plan competition, Changwoo visited truck stops and stores like HEB, Home Depot, and other truck stops in the Austin area. What he found was 10 out of the 12 truckers he interviewed said they would be interested in truck sharing. So THruck service would be very similar to existing rideshare through a mobile app connecting travelers and truckers. Truckers would upload their routes manually themselves in the driver application, or they could connect the THruck app directly to their trucking logistics software. Travelers would enter departure and arrival cities. They could view a list of travel times, routes, review rates, and book their ride and pay through the app. So then they would meet truckers at a predetermined THruck stop on the truck's existing route. This could be a traditional truck stop or a convenience store off a major highway, or this could be something like a retail store, a restaurant, or distribution center in the rider's departure city. Truckers do not pick up riders from a location that is not on their existing route. So riders are responsible for using another form of transportation to get to the meeting spot to join the trucker on his or her route. So this would be something like rideshare, friends, family, public transit, even walking, bicycle, or scooter. Riders join the trucker on their scheduled route until they arrive in their destination city at the next predetermined stop where they are dropped off. Again, truckers do not change their delivery routes for riders. Riders simply join the truckers at a predetermined point, and these points are decided by the truckers. So, truckers can make a whole day's route available for rides or just a portion. The trucker decides. So THruck's revenue comes from an 18% transaction fee through the app. For example, a traveler going from Austin to Houston would pay $40. The truck driver would earn $33 and THruck would make $7. Our total available market is 552 million solo travelers. We got to this number from the domestic travel market. We took statistics from the U.S. Travel Association that says there were 2.8 billion person trips over 50 miles in 2018. And in those long distance trips, travelers spent $261 billion, which averages to just under $100 per trip. Most of these trips were in personal vehicles, but 24% of the total market were solo travelers. So this equates to 552 million people in our total available market. To generate nearly $1 billion in revenue by year 5, we would need to obtain 4.3% of that total available market. This is essentially 24 million rides at an average cost of $40 per ride. So, THruck has two distinct and separate target markets. Without truck drivers, THruck has 0 rides, and without solo long distance travelers, THruck makes $0. We plan to tackle this by specifically focusing on college students on the passenger side, and for the driver's side, seeking to partner with established trucking companies with existing fleets and trusted, recognized brands. This will help us become better established at a faster rate. Working with established companies with existing fleets helps populate the routes and decreases THruck's overhead expenses. For example, this ensures we are working with drivers that have already been vetted and background checked, and we do not have to pay the cost of the background checks. And this also helps standardize services and safety. For example, these existing fleets have existing routes, strict schedules, policies, procedures, and safety standards that would already be built in to our service by partnering with existing companies. This also helps address any stigmas that might be still existing in the target market when it comes to hitching a ride with truckers. If the brand has an established, trusted, well-recognized image, this will assist us in breaking any of those negative stereotypes. So the value to truck companies is an opportunity to reduce overall emissions, engaging with the community, and to offer drivers extra incentives. In year 3, we will start to open up to all solo long distance travelers on the passenger side and all independent truck drivers on the driver's side. In our truck driver interviews, we did find that truckers were extremely concerned about the integrity of potential truck sharing passengers. We thought this could be addressed by starting out with only college students, because college students could be verified with a student ID and active college email. Students are also more likely to not have a personal vehicle, travel long distance alone, and have more predictable travel schedules. They are also more open to existing rideshare options, so long distance rideshare could be a natural progression from the newly established transit norms. We will reach students and truckers through traditional advertising. While this does include radio, TV, print, and digital advertising, this also is part of paid social media advertising and search engine sponsored results. Outreach is also a big component of our marketing strategy, because we really need to gather market research and build relationships with riders and trucking companies. For example, tabling at and sponsoring existing campus events, we can gauge attitudes and challenges in our rider target market more effectively and use feedback to stay innovative. On the driver's side, we have started to reach out to existing trucking companies through focused email campaigns. The goal here right now is to gather industry research and ensure we are aligned with the needs and existing process and standards of trucking companies. So this allows us to build relationships while obtaining interviews and surveys from truck company owners, executives, managers, and truck drivers. We're also currently scheduling ride-alongs to best understand how to structure every detail of our service on both the passenger and driver side. We expect to stay informed on innovations in the industry by attending transportation and mobility conferences, and we increase our outreach to trucking companies and drivers by tabling at industry meetups, expos, and truck stop pop-ups. So our web presence will support the advertising and outreach efforts. For example, as we're sending out emails, we also have to direct the website to direct them to, as well as videos that we've created specifically for those markets to provide extra information. We do not expect to push marketing efforts primarily through social media and web, but this does help us stay relevant and allow our markets to engage with each other. The bulk of our web marketing will be spent on search engine optimization for those people searching for long distance travel options. We are projected to break even in year 3. Currently, we're in research and development and expect to move to the application development next. We start generating revenues next year from our first college student riders, and we break even in year 3 when we expand ridership beyond the student market. THruck is a new long-distance rideshare solution. It makes long-distance travel more accessible using existing transit networks. The empty seat on commercial trucks are an opportunity. By utilizing the empty seat, solo travelers are not taking their own vehicles, rental cars, or generating more routes for existing buses and trains. This reduces emissions, and truckers can benefit from the extra income. Having a passenger on long rides can help curb drowsiness and encourage safer driving speeds. Truck sharing also opens long-haul freighters to alternative uses that can be valuable perhaps as transportation moves towards driverless options. While driverless freight could hurt independent drivers, if they do own their own rig, they could keep it in service by offering long-distance rideshare. While a handful of attempts to capitalize on ride sharing in the long distance travel market are currently being made, so far no one company nor innovation has seemed to really work through the challenges of populating routes with drivers and keeping the rides affordable and profitable. Our solution does not have a direct competitor, and moving forward, we're just going to see if this innovation solves some of those issues that keep existing long distance rideshare services from really taking off. If nothing else, the data we are collecting through research and later the mobile app can be valuable to inform current and future trends in the long distance travel, rideshare, and long haul freight industry segments. That being said, we wouldn't be surprised if we were acquired by an existing successful rideshare company, especially when THruck really does connect city to city and essentially rideshare to rideshare. Chang Wu and Tyler, so this is the team, and myself. So Chang Wu and Tyler met while earning their MBAs at St. Edward's. I met Tyler and Chang Wu at last year's 3-day startup program at St. Edward's while I was finishing my bachelor's in business administration. We decided, along with Daniel Barrios, to enter the 13th annual iChallenge on the Hilltop using the truck sharing concept. We actually won 3rd place in April of 2019. Then we graduated and won 1st place in a national video pitch competition hosted by the Entrepreneurial Honor Society's Sigma Nu Tau. I continued on in the master's program in leadership and change, and then shortly after that we were accepted into the New Chip Accelerator, and we also are finalists in Austin Fast Starts Mobility Competition, so we'll be pitching September 9th at 7 o'clock at Austin Central Library. So on behalf of the THruck team, I would like to thank you for your time, your interest, and being part of our journey. THruck, a new way of travel. Thank you.